In 1985, 5 men slipped into a private suite at New York's Plaza Hotel. No cameras, no press, no witnesses. They weren't generals or kings. They were finance ministers and central bankers. Their weapons weren't tanks or missiles. They were numbers, exchange rates, interest rates, balance sheets. For months, the US dollar had grown too strong, strangling exports and destabilizing global trade. That night, the world's richest nations conspired to bring it down. They called it the Plaza Accord. One document, a few signatures, and the dollar fell like a wounded empire. Fortunes were made, economies shifted, power quietly changed hands. But that night wasn't the beginning. It was part of a story centuries in the making, when empires first realized they could control nations without firing a shot. Money in the hands of a powerful few is not a tool, it's a weapon. Money can inflate, deflate, enrich, or impoverish entire populations. The battles aren't fought on fields. They happen in meeting rooms and on balance sheets. From gold vaults in 19th century London to smoke-filled boardrooms in 1980s Tokyo, the war for monetary dominance never stopped. Today, it's underground. Digital currencies, sanctions, debt, they are the new front lines. Every time a government prints money, a currency war flickers to life. Every interest rate move is another skirmish. And every time your savings quietly lose value, that's collateral damage. Every empire learns the same lesson. Control money, control nations. Rome debased silver coins and weakened itself. Britain tied its wealth to gold and built a global empire. When the gold standard collapsed in the 20th century, a new war began. Fought with inflation, interest rates, and currency manipulation. This isn't theory. It's history written in exchange rates, not ink. By the 1980s, the war went high-tech. The battlefield was policy, the generals wore suits, the US dollar had grown too strong. Exports struggled, manufacturing declined, the trade deficit ballooned. Japan and West Germany thrived with undervalued currencies. September 22nd, 1985, finance ministers and central bankers from the US, Japan, Germany, France, and the UK met at the Plaza Hotel. Their goal, deliberate dollar devaluation. No public debate, no vote, just a secret agreement. Within months, the dollar dropped over 30%. The US recovered. Japan entered the lost decade, skyrocketing asset prices crashed, stagnation followed. Currency wars had become institutionalized. Ministers became central bankers. Treaties became trade deals. Manipulation became market intervention. Today, these battles touch everyone. Interest rate changes, printing money, tariffs. Every move ripples into your wallet. Inflation spikes, rising costs, shrinking paychecks. They're not random. They're the side effects of wars fought in rooms you'll never enter. Every empire, from Rome to Beijing, has fought this same fight. Control money, control destiny. In the 18th and 19th centuries, gold wasn't just a metal, it was power. Britain ruled the seas, but its real empire was financial. The pound, backed by gold and trust, became the world's reserve currency. Other nations followed, but beneath the golden surface, tension simmered. Run out of gold, and the economy collapses. Governments cheated quietly, debased coins, diluted reserves, printed unbacked notes. France did it. So did early America. Inflation rose. Savings vanished. The poor paid the price. It was economic warfare in slow motion. A race to make money cheaper to gain trade advantage at someone else's expense. By the 1930s, the race turned into open battle. The Great Depression wasn't just a financial crisis. It was a currency war. Countries abandoned the gold standard, slashed currency values, tried to export their way to recovery. Beggar thy neighbor described how nations saved themselves by strangling each other. The pattern was set. Money was a weapon, and governments learned to wield it. China played its own currency game, keeping the yuan low to dominate exports. US manufacturing hollowed out. Debt soared. Inequality widened. Central banks discovered new weapons, printing money, cutting interest rates. Every intervention had global consequences. A perpetual arms race of borrowing, inflating, defending currencies defined decades. By the 2000s, the battlefield was everywhere, from Wall Street to Shanghai. Now, tools are extreme. Zero interest rates, quantitative easing, trillions in digital money. The US dollar is both shield and sword. Sanctions are modern warfare. BRICS nations respond with alternatives, joint currencies, bypassing the dollar, digital currencies, CBDCs, and decentralized coins redefine control and resistance. The front line is no longer physical. It's digital, mathematical, global. Lesson 1. Money is power and promise. Break trust. Dominance erodes. Lesson 2. Currency wars are class wars. Asset owners gain, middle class loses. Lesson 3. Currency wars never end. They evolve. Gold, paper, code. The tools change. Motive remains power. Every action has reaction. Every policy hides agenda. And everyone is on the battlefield. Your paycheck, your mortgage, your grocery bill. History rhymes. Rome, Britain, the US. Control currency, control empire. Empires fall quietly, through loss of trust, not bullets. Today, rivals circle the dollar. Inflation whispers where confidence roared. Digital money blurs freedom and surveillance. Debt grows beyond comprehension. Currency wars don't make headlines, they make history. The next one is already underway. Your life, your money, your future, they're all part of the game. If you want to see behind the scenes of money, power, and global control, subscribe to The Financial Historian. The next economic battle won't be televised, but you'll feel it in your wallet.